Oh,
again. Mhm.
again.
Yep.
Can
Let's see.
see if we can hide this echo. I tell you what, I'm gonna turn it off here. We should be okay. Did you get live on the Instagram? Are you there live on Instagram? Hi guys. We're going live on some back on the heart-led leading trail. Uh, are you live with me on, let's see, there you are on Instagram. Great. We're here.
Hi.
I'm ready.
Hey, Rupda. So nice to see you again.
Hi, here we are.
So, do you hear an echo?
I don't now. So hopefully our listeners don't either. Do you?
I hear a little one. So let's see if I change this thing. Just give me 1 second and
I
okay.
turned the volume down on my laptop and I have you just on my phone. I don't know if that.
I'm doing the same thing. Let's hope it
Okay,
works.
let's give it a
Okay.
try. Hi, everyone.
Okay, so hi everyone. Welcome to our fifth episode of our journey on leadership. Where we're really doing it at Rupda. Slowly, we're touching so many interesting topics. I'm so happy that we're doing this. So today is a special episode, as usual. It's always special, and we're going to talk about inner leadership. So how can we be a true leader? So for everyone that's just tapping in this moment, welcome to our Leadership Rebellion, a heart-centered led approach to leading. My name is Tyler Mikochi. I'm a life coach and a self-love and relationship expert. I'm here with my dear friend Rupda to talk about how to lead from your heart. Rupda is the founder of Tools for Life Institute. She's a trainer, a speaker, and a coach. And this is a 9-part series that we're offering you where you can find a new perspective on leading, coaching, and the invitation for you is to really meet your inner leader through these episodes. So, Rupta, I would like to jump immediately in our first question.
Yes.
And the question is this. In our previous episode, we talked about what kind of a leader we want to see in the world. So we were like focusing on leadership outside. Today, we're focusing on leadership inside. And I would like to know for you, which are the most important keys to empower the inner leader?
Thank you, Tyler. And I'm loving also, just want to say, I'm loving that we're doing this. I'm loving that because you and I love leadership so much and we love everything around heart-led leading and we want people to step into it in their own way. And it's not only about a professional, context. It's about, we have a leader in the house right now, my dog. So he rarely barks, by the way. So that's a beautiful moment. And I love the question. We were focusing on the outside aspect to leading, and then there's the inside aspect, of course. And the question that you asked, the very uh, question itself, in many ways, implies how we move from outward orientation to inward orientation. And you and I both know that when we start to develop in leadership, the whole orientation towards oriented inwards is a big step in self-leading and how we attune to ourselves. So one of the biggest keys that we talk about is listening to ourselves, listening to what is happening, tuning in. Because, of course, it's easy to say we want the other to resolve and the other to tell us what to do or, have the guidance everywhere else. And can we self-guide? Can we self-coach? And in order to self-guide, self-coach, self-lead, we need to have a sense of ourselves, what's happening in our inner state of being. What's our inner weather report? Yeah, is it calm? Is it snowy? Is it raining? Is it sunshine? Is there thunderstorms? So that's one of the biggest steps, or let's say, movement towards understanding how we self-lead. And then from there, when we start to listen and tune in, it's like the radio station tuning in to what's happening here, we can start to, what I talk about a little bit with gut feeling and intuition, to start to sense, and you and I both know this, have the head orientation, the heart orientation, and the body orientation. And that gut feeling is so important in guidance and giving us guidance in self-leading. And where is it we want to navigate? What feels right? What doesn't feel right? What creates tension when I make a decision? And what creates relaxation when I make a decision? And a lot about self-leading is about decision making. How do I decide things in my life? So that's another aspect to it, that we are able to not only orientate in to listen, but also to tune in, not only from the head, but also into the body, and get that gut feeling guidance, which will very much help us go in a direction ultimately that will serve us as a holistic approach, not just from what we think we should be doing, but what we feel and what we sense as well. The whole part of us in how we lead, self-lead. I want to say more to it, but I also want to hear from you.
While you were talking about decision making, I was thinking that sometimes it's hard to lead ourselves because we're caught in fear. And that fear can bring confusion and can bring we sort of freeze and we don't know what to decide. What do I do? How do I do it? Is it right? Is it wrong? And sometimes we get stuck in our head, and it's hard. What I really like of your work, that you're always including the heart, and you're always including also somatically the body. So when you can lead from those three aspects that you just mentioned, I think that you have a chance of bypassing the fear and transforming that fear. And you can also rely in some inner intelligence that's also there for you to say, okay, I feel the fear, but I can pass it through and I can transform this and I can get out of the confusion. So from your experience, how can we transform that fear that often is holding us back from making the decision, from having clarity, from feeling groundedness? What can we do as leaders to manage that fear in a different way without feeling overwhelmed by it?
Yeah, that's a good question. And fear can be so overwhelming and also creates a lot of self-doubt. We start to question our own selves, and then we question the decisions we make in our lives, the direction we go, what we're meant to be focusing on. I don't know if you can hear that overhead, but that was a big thunder lightning. I don't know if something else is
I thought it was your
microphone.
No, it's a thunder. Wow.
Oh, well, so far we're able to sustain this live connection, so hopefully it keeps going. But if it drops out for any reason, you know why. It came from the sky. And yeah, fear is a big one. And one of the things, of course, I often say, and you know it, is by avoiding something, and that sort of, in a way, and energetically, we have to do this. Yeah, it's kind of, we're resisting it in a way, and what we resist persists, so like what we don't want, no. There's a certain energy, and fear can be so grappling. It feels like sometimes over our heads. If it can turn into an overthinking mind and an overstimulated body and an overwhelm, and we're not even present anymore. We lose presence, and we certainly lose a sense of guidance and connection to ourselves. So with fear, I often say that if we take it for a moment, and sometimes I literally work with people when I'm doing guided work, and I ask, imagine the fear is just for a moment outside of you, and you're addressing it and having a conversation with it. What is it? Be curious about it. Where is it coming from right now? Did it just fall out of the sky, or is it birthed from somewhere? Have a curiosity, inquire about it. And then I even sometimes, okay, so if fear could talk right now, what would it say? Yeah. What would it need, so that it kind of has sometimes fear feels like this big, all encompassing, all consuming, and we can't see beyond it. And by kind of bringing it outside of ourselves and looking at, addressing it, having a curiosity, it doesn't have the big weight on us as it had before. We're able to look at it, and sometimes simply by having a kind of conversation, we create some kind of relationship to this thing, not an avoidance, but a meeting it, meeting it, willing to meet it, and even willing to feel it on some level, that the pain of it or whatever is underneath it or where it's birthed from, in that moment. And sometimes the imaginary thing, because it can just be an imaginary thing too that we have created of like,
Yes.
the house is gonna fall down, whatever the blah blah story is. And anytime we address it head on and we really meet it, the hold and the grip that it has on you starts to loosen. And it can go from this big all the way down to a very manageable side, almost to a size where you can say, you know what, everything's going to be okay. And you can almost talk to it like you now are the conscientious one, or the parent, or the big one in this. And it has a lighter weight inside of you. And you can even say to it, I'll take care of you. Everything's going to be all right. And I put you in my pocket. Boom. The relationship and how you open the dialogue with fear is really important. But if you let it run on the train track that it's on, it just gets, and then somatically you feel like you're in it. Yeah. So we really ultimately want to set ourselves for not separate in denial, but separate and just meet it in a different way. Yeah. So that we can open up a dialogue to it and be curious, where did it come from? And hopefully by then you find a different perspective, and this thing isn't as big as I thought it was, Unless you've got a gun at your head and you're hanging off a cliff and someone's about to pull the trigger, I think you're going to be okay. Yeah. The fear is manageable. There's a way through, is what I want to say. Yeah. That was maybe a longer version of an answer, but
No,
hopefully
thank
that
you.
gives
Thank you.
our listeners an idea. Yes.
So how can we step into our power? I mean, you mentioned something before, you gave us a few keys, but how can we really invite, we need heart-led leaders more and more in this world. We need communities of also heart-led leaders, but how can we how you say, support or invite or give a little booster to those that are a little bit undecided now, and those that would be curious to become a leader, but they're like hesitating? What can we say to them?
Yeah, it's a good one. And you're absolutely right. The courageous ones, the brave ones, willing to take a risk and step into any kind of form of self-leading, supporting others, or leading and leadership in coaching. I can't recommend it enough, especially when we move towards the direction of heart-led leaders, because there's many qualities of the heart, as we know, and one of them being courage. And it takes a certain level of courage, and not to abandon yourself. Heart-led leading is also about being true to yourself, as you and I know, Tyler, not abandoning yourself to make it right for the other, not abandoning yourself to disempower yourself for the other. Heart-led leading isn't some kind of, flimsy, seaweedy kind of the sky airy thing. It's very grounded, and has a lot of bravery in it. And it also is being about true to yourself. So in many ways, implicit in moving towards heart-led leading, connecting with the heart, helps guide you towards meeting your strength. And of course, when we start to meet our strength, we start to get a kind of somatic experience of what that inner strength feels like, and it's empowering. And the more we can play with that, the more we can accept power, not from a distorted place, like we've said many a times, because power can look dark and murky and misuse and abuse, but we're not talking about that kind of power. We're talking about a power that's empowered, that supports a healthy growth, a healing towards others and yourself. And the more we are able to land in that, the more we can assert ourselves, the more we give ourselves full permission to be who we are, because now we're in the bravery of the heart, the courage of the heart. The more we take a risk and we feel courageous to set our boundaries, and boundaries is empowering. You can't set boundaries unless you're willing to step into some form of empowerment in yourself. So in that, it implies also that you're owning some level of that powership inside of you. And we also need that. And that comes with that dignity and self-respect. So these are many qualities. If you're going to draw a big circle of power, yeah, and in the circle of power, you put the words dignity, self-respect, bravery, courage, yeah, these things that that are implied when you're willing to really hold that place and boundaries, yeah, to really say, okay, I have a right to be here. So the qualities are in many ways is coming to our hearts in heart-led leading, and to feel true to ourselves, yeah. So one way you can start right now is finding an empowering statement, you know, a statement that empowers you, and wake up in the morning with that empowering statement. Whether it is the first thing in the morning when you wake up and you put your feet to the ground, you say, I have a right to be here. This is my day and I have a right to be here, and you empower yourself. Or maybe you wake up in the day and you say, I have so much to offer. I've got a big heart. I've got a courageous heart. I'm willing to take risks. I got a lot to offer. What world, here I come. But it's just an energetic thing that you're giving yourself. You're setting the tone for the day by creating an empowered statement. Play with it. I would highly recommend doing it for, like, 21-day challenge right there in, playing with the affirmations of power, because we need to do the self-dialogue to remind us that we have these qualities. Nobody's giving us these qualities. I'm not saying here's courage, and you have it within you. So, and the way we really excavate that is by that self-talk, that self-remembering, because it's all within us. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I think this is really a good suggestion, and it's easy to do. It's simple, and sometimes we do the opposite. Sometimes we jump out of the bed, we rush into the day, we're full of negative self-talk, and we don't realize that we're setting that intention negatively. And instead, it's really good to step down, put your feet down of the bed, and really set the intention in a good way. I love this. Thank you.
Yeah. And to add one more thing to that, when you
Yes.
put your feet down and you say that empowering statement, and you stand up and you make an empowerment movement with that, whatever that is. I don't know what an empowerment movement is for each person. It's going to look different, so that you get the somatic experience of it, you get the verbal experience of it, you get the emotional experience of it. So you get a whole embodied experience of it. And why not try that for 21 days and see how that sets the tone for your day? Yeah. Why not? Especially if you feel like you want to embody more power in your life, or you want to be more empowered. Yeah.
I really like this. Thank you very much. So we're heading to a closure here, because time, as usual, with you always runs fast. So thank you, everybody, for staying with us in this episode. Thank you for taking time. If you want to watch this episode again, we're going to keep it on Instagram, Rupda's Instagram. You can see it on her YouTube channel, on all her channels. You're going to find all 9 episodes, because we're keeping them there for you, so you can go through them again and again, and you can also share them with your friends. So thank you for being with us. Next episode is going to be episode number 6, and we're going to look at the shadow side of leading. I'm so much curious about that, the shadow side of leading. And as usual, check out the website of Rupda, www.rupda.com. And if no one has told you today, remember, you're loved, you matter, and it's time to start leading. Thank you, Rupda. It was beautiful having you.
It was wonderful. Thank you.
And thank you, everybody. See you soon.